profession. If you are going to have teachers with those that are illiterate queuing for bread outside there, so there is no reason for them to be educators in the generation that is coming.
And Israeli forces have pulled out of Jenin in the occupied West Bank after a major operation lasting almost 10 days. The first Palestinians to leave their homes say there's extensive damage. Funerals are taking place amid the rubble. The BBC's James Landale.
The city was the focal point of a series of raids across the occupied West Bank. Israel said it was a counter-terrorism operation against armed Palestinian groups. The IDF said 14 Palestinian fighters had been killed and 30 suspects arrested. It said a weapons store under a mosque had been destroyed and a local Hamas commander killed. All the while, residents said they hid or fled in terror. The Palestinian Health Authority said 21 people had been killed. Witnesses said Israeli bulldozers had left significant damage to roads and buildings. The Palestinian Foreign Ministry accused Israel of deliberately targeting civilians, at least 8 of whom died.
The top story, Justice Minister Thembi Simelane has denied allegations that she had an improper relationship with the service provider appointed by the Polokwane municipality, Gundo Wealth Solutions. For SAFM News, Mudupi Makhalemele, it is The Full Circle.
Life is always good in the top half. However, it requires consistency. That's what the University of Johannesburg and First Touch ladies want to deliver. This is the Hollywood Reds Believe. Catch Mzansi Queens of the beautiful game. UJ Ladies FC versus First Touch Ladies FC on Sunday, 8 September at 2:30 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4, SABC 1 and SABC radio stations. Also available at your fingertips on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
Bengu, bengu, bengu.
This Heritage Month, SAFM invites you to celebrate the rich tapestry of our nation's diverse cultures. From the vibrant beats of our traditional music to the flavors of our unique cuisines, every culture tells a story of strength, unity, and identity. We honor the heroes and heroines who laid down their lives for our freedom, reminding us that our shared heritage is what makes us strong. Together as one, we celebrate who we are because our culture is our identity. This Heritage Month, let's celebrate every culture, every story, and every voice. The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
Puma nankosi ndiyaphuma ndifihle kwingozi nentsha nayo yonke imimoya thatha indawo njengosomandla sindisa impilo yami kwababantu abalunganga kuba namhlanje ndibonile uba silwe nenyama silwa nemimoya namhlanje ndibonile uba asilwe nabantu thina silwa nemimoya asilwe nabantu thina asilwe nabantu thina silwa nemimoya asilwe nabantu thina asilwe nabantu thina silwa nemimoya 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 ezinye izinto azilungi noma ungazama zibanjwe emoyeni ezimfazwe sizibonile aziqali namhlanje siqale emoyeni ngoba emoyeni kuyaliwa emoyeni 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 kuyaliwa Asiri na bantu Sirwale mi moya Asiri na bantu Sirwale mi moya Sirwale mi moya Sirwale mi moya Sirwale mi moya Sirwale mi moya
A wonderful way to kick off our Friday afternoon with you today. I hope you've wrapped up the week smoothly on your end, or at very least preparing to wrap up the week smoothly. That is how we say hello to you on this beautiful Friday afternoon. It is Nati with the Imimoya. That song is just immaculate, as the young kids would say. It's just gone 10 past 1 o'clock on the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga. You know, on Fridays, on this particular show, we take it nice and easy and we ease you into the weekend in the only way that we know how, with conversations that are centered around arts and culture to spark some creative curiosity in your life. And of course, today is no different. We're going to be catching up with the founder of the F&B Art Fair, which is Art Joburg, as it's fondly known. It kicked off last night with its premiere evening, and it's going to be running throughout the course of the weekend, with a lot of peripheral events also taking place in and around the Johannesburg precinct, as they aim to activate the whole of Joburg. Stages, pages, screens, and more is also coming up today. The 2024 SAFTA nominations are out. What an exciting list of nominees. You know, some legends featuring on the list, as well as some novice young starlets also rising up to claim their spot. It's going to be an exciting SAFTA 2024, I think. And there's a few powerhouse production companies as well that have gone on to rake around 29 nominations. Can you imagine? 29 nominations for the productions that they've put out for our consumption over the course of the year. Very exciting, around the South African Film and Television Awards announcements. And of course, we'll catch up with the folks from the National Film and Video Foundation around that nominations announcement. On the other side of 2 o'clock, we are hoping that we're going to be in conversation with a fellow broadcaster, of course, Thibaut Touch. He was supposed to come through last Friday, but because our schedule sometimes just get turned upside down at the very last minute. He had an outside broadcast that pulled him away from the studio. And so today he's set to be at the SABC headquarters, and he'll be coming through for a conversation. And then, of course, a full access as well is coming up. We're going to catch up with Mpho Shabalala, businesswoman and philanthropist. It's 1:15 on the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga, on SAFM.
Arts, culture, and robust conversations with Bridget Masinga.
My first guest needs no introduction to you. He is a familiar voice on SAFM, the host of The Meeting Point, which airs Wednesdays and Thursday evenings. Koketso Sakane is joining me now, and we are here to talk. Did my vernac just go all the way? I know. I can always see my team when they go, your Zulunguni tongue just took over. But we are catching up with Koketso, and we're talking around the house of Sa Ja Ne. How are you doing, Koketso?
You got it. Bridget Masinga, thank you very much for allowing me into your space. Really appreciate it. Good afternoon to you.
Thank you so much for the time. We appreciate you making the time, by the way, because we know that when you're not on air, you are busy with other things. And this happens to be one of the other things that occupies you, right? The house of Sajane. Sajane. Oh, your surname gives me the loops. Your surname gives me the loops, and you are my colleague. Can you imagine?
Terrible.
Apologies. You are presenting 2 productions at the annual Open Book Festival that's going to be held on the 6th till the 8th of September, which is this weekend. Tell us more.
Yeah, we definitely are. It's a very special weekend for House of Sachane, where we are firstly 2 productions that we are hosting today. Or rather this weekend. This evening we have Footprints in Nature, which is myself together with singer and anthropologist Bridget Masinga, where Bridget is going to be speaking about her work in conservation and how that has tied into her music as well. So it will be a combination of ourselves engaging in her work as an academic and a thesis that she wrote around Mapungubwe and issues of conservation, some in-depth work that she has done, and side by side with that is how the work that she has done has inspired her music. So it is a combination of a performance on her part as well as a conversation between myself and her around the work that she's done and her thesis. So that is in Nature this evening at the Open Book Festival at 8 p.m. And then tomorrow, it's even bigger. We are staging a letter to Sobukwe, where we are speaking to Babi Sobukwe, the late PAC founding president, reporting to him on the country that we have and the country that we would still like to have. A moment of reflection where we take stock of how far we've come and where we still need to go. But how the letter to Sobukwe, the production itself, comes to life. Is a house band that is Kujenga, who recently got a very jazz award just this past weekend. They are the house band, and alongside them are 3 authors that will be reading from some of their books, Oyama Mabandla, Hang Siale, as well as Uhuru Palapala. And we are also adding a different layer, an additional layer and texture to it through the use of archive footage, photos, and videos. And all of that is built around the narrative of us as South Africans reflecting on how far we've come, but also at the same time where we would still like to go. And we do that through us speaking directly to the late Babu Robert Sobukwe.
Yeah. Koketso, you know what I want to do? I just didn't want to interject, but I want to get you on a slightly crisper line if you can just hang 10 there for me for a second as our producers just transfer you to a different line. That is, of course, our colleague here, the host of the Meeting Point, and it airs Wednesdays to Thursdays. Koketso Sachani is joining us. House of Sachani will be presenting 2 productions at the annual Open Book Festival, kicking off tonight, as you've heard, with a conversation with a tribute Birdie Mboweni. Footprints in Nature is the conversation today, and the theme around today's conversation. Okay, we've transferred that line. I mean, it sounds like an interesting gathering over the course of 3 evenings, Koketso, with real impactful conversations that are pertinent to the here and now, but obviously tapping into the sort of artistic lens, or tapping into them via the artistic lens. Why was it important for you to, as producer and curator of this event, to actually bring this kind of conversation together and to converge, the various creatives and the various minds into one room to have this discourse?
I think, Bridget, we have over the past few months been reflecting on 30 years of democracy. And as we reflect, I personally have been asking myself questions around those who have played a role in where we are. And specifically, Ubaba Robert Sobukwe is somebody that I feel we do not appreciate enough, we do not celebrate enough when we tell our history, the history of and the contribution made by Ubaba Robert Sobukwe and many others, of course, as Pan-Africanist, as the Black Consciousness movement. We do not highlight them enough. And I thought it important, through the collective that I work with, we found it important that we remind ourselves of who Baba Robert Sobukwe is and his teachings. And I think it's also relevant today, not only in terms of where we are as a country, but considering what we are faced with, and the xenophobia and the Afrophobia, the teachings of Baba Robert Sobukwe as a Pan-Africanist, the teachings of us to love ourselves as Africans, is something that we definitely need to highlight and reflect on. We've got a history that we can draw from, and we should.
A lot of folks are, quite familiar with tribute Birdie Mboweni's. I think she's since dropped the tribute, right? Birdie Mboweni's works, but I think a lot of people don't realize that she's actually become quite the scholar, the scholar of humanities and the scholar of how we sort of move and interact with ourselves, with culture, as well as with environment. And this provides for an interesting conversation, I think, that's going to be held tonight.
Well, the interesting part is that I literally just stopped to pick up Birdie from a rehearsal. So Birdie is right here with me right now. So we might as well just include her into the conversation. She's listening. She's with us right now.
Absolutely. How are you doing, Birdie?
I'm good, thanks.
Fabulous. We haven't caught up since my previous life, but exciting stuff to have you, in conversation tonight for hashtag Footprints in Nature. Perhaps, through your lens, just the importance of drawing those connections between humanity and how we engage and move with societies and cultures, but also how we all interlock with the environment.
There's so much connectedness between us people and our environment, and I think the thing that has been done previously through colonialism and apartheid has to create that human, that society and environment dichotomy where we were sort of made to feel like we don't belong in quotes nature. When we are as much as a part of the environment as every other living and non-living thing. And so it's important for us to reflect on that history, to reflect on how we ended up here, and how we can sort of mend those things that have been done before.
You've recently, by the way, congratulations on, being conferred with your PhD. I know you were studying for quite a while in Queensland, in Australia. And that's the perfect backdrop, I think, because if there's one society that understands those intersections, it's definitely Australians from what we perceive.
Absolutely. And I mean, the reason behind me going to do my PhD in Australia is precisely because of, those similarities in our histories. And there's a story that people used to tell me quite a lot when I got to Queensland about how apartheid was sort of like a copy and paste of what was happening in Australia, and it was done here. And so, and those struggles continue when you are a part of conversations around the issues of land and the connection to the land in Australia between, the connections between the First Nations Australians and their land. Those issues are ongoing. Those tensions are ongoing. And this is the same thing here in South Africa.
For those folks who have not caught you perform in a while now, what can they look forward to? Because, you left a lot of your fans and asked them to be patient with you as you went off and pursued your academic journey. And they've been waiting patiently for you to come back and hopefully to jump back into the music. So what's in store outside, of course, of the conversation and the very important dialogue that's going to be held over the weekend?
I mean, I continue to write music that reflects on my own experiences of being human and of being a human being working in the space of biodiversity conservation. And, I've written music like Mfulayana before, Marikapanyana, which really are songs that talk about my connections with the environment. And I continue to write new music that not only celebrates our cultural and environmental heritage, but also, our musical heritage. And so they can look forward to new music. I'll be performing absolutely new music tonight and meshing it up with songs that I've recorded before. So really looking forward to that. And, some fans were really patient. Some were bugging me about when new music is coming. So here we are.
Here we are. Well, listen, welcome back home. And we look forward to everything that's going to unfold, not just this weekend, but also everything that you bring back with you from your travels abroad. That was, of course, tribute Birdie Mboweni. Birdie Mboweni going to be performing and in conversation this coming weekend. So go get so. But by way of folks that perhaps want to come through to the Open Book Festival and be a part of the conversations, give us those very important details.
It is happening, firstly, Footprints in Nature, happening at the Open Book Festival, the District 6 Homecoming Center. Tickets are available via web tickets. It is the Avalon Theatre at the District 6 Homecoming Center. That's this evening at 8 p.m. And then A Letter to Sobukwe tomorrow, also happening at the District 6 Homecoming Center in the Star Theatre at 8 p.m. Both productions, tickets are available via web tickets.
Wonderful stuff. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for the time. That was, of course, our colleague here at the station, Koketso Sachani, and he's on Wednesdays to Thursday evenings. You can catch him on the Meeting Point. And when he's not here, he's doing all kinds of other fabulous things, including, of course, presenting to you these conversations that are happening between the 6th and the 8th of September as part of the itinerary at the Open Book Festival, Footprints in Nature. That conversation happening tonight, as well as a performance by tribute Birdie Mboweni, who's also going to be part of the conversation. And of course, on Saturday, the 7th, they are staging A Letter to Sobukwe. And this is a report back to the Pan-Africanist Congress founding president Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe on the state of the country that he ultimately sacrificed his life for. It is fast approaching the bottom of the hour, and the news are coming up. The headline news are coming up at 12:30, and then on the other side of that, we're still hoping to have that conversation around the Joburg Art Fair, which opened yesterday. But the schedule can go all over the place this afternoon. It's quite fluid. We're also going to be catching up with the folks at the National Film and Video Foundation, taking a look at the 2024 SAFTA nominations announcements that were made just yesterday. Lots of excitement exciting names being nominated for this year's awards, having to duke it out amongst themselves. We've got living legends. We've got, the new masters of the craft. And we've even got, actresses that really have been cutting their teeth for many years. The likes of Puti Khomo, who was nominated as Best Actress in a Comedy, and she did so incredibly well in that series. So a well-deserved nomination. I saw on her social media post, she's stuck somewhere in Asia right now in the middle of a typhoon or something of the sorts, gridlocked, well, not gridlocked, but locked down rather at an airport. And that's where she received the news of her nomination, just stuck in the middle of nowhere. Also coming up after 2 o'clock, we're going to be in conversation with Mpho Shabalala, businesswoman and philanthropist for Full Access. It's 1:30. Medupi standing by with the headline news.
Thank you very much, Sister Bridge, and a very good afternoon. In your headlines this hour, 11 traffic officers have been arrested for alleged corruption in Limpopo. Justice Minister Thembi Simelane has denied allegations that she had an improper relationship with the service provider appointed by the Polokwane municipality, Gundo Wealth Solutions. And friends and family of media personality Thabiso Sikwane have honored and celebrated her life at her funeral service in Centurion in Pretoria. A full news update coming up 2 o'clock.
The National Thunder trust their game plan will trouble the Sparrow Hawks. However, the Togolese believe they will punch above their weight to secure victory. This is the Total Energies AFCON 2025 qualifier. Witness the beauty of African football. Equatorial Guinea collides with Togo on Monday, 9 September at 5 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Also available at your fingertips on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
We can simply talk about the song that you love, the song that helps you through the day, a song that might have helped you through difficult times, or a song that means something to you. Sylvia, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much.
Why do you love this song?
I don't know. Every time I listen to the song, it just touches me. I don't know.
Thabiso Sikwane on SAFM, South Africa's news and information leader.
SAFM sends its deepest condolences. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Stages, pages, screens, and more on The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga.
We are catching up now with Onke Dumeko, who's the head of operations for the National Film and Video Foundation. And of course, they announced the 18th South African Film and Television Awards, known as the SAFTAs, on Thursday, just yesterday, to much fanfare and anticipation. And it's been wonderful to see the reaction of some of the nominees, and hear some of the stories from the actors who some were on set when they received the nominations list, or had their directors coming to them and saying congratulations, and they were quite shocked at just the amount of nominees or nominations rather that they got. You can tell that the week is over. Even my brain is on a go slow today. Onke, how are you doing?
Good, thank you so much, Bridget. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for the time. I'm just chuckling because I was watching Thembinkosi Mthembu today, who is a South African actor. Yes, and he was saying that he received the news via his director whilst he was on set. And it's so difficult to know which set he was on, because I know that Shaka Ilembe is also shooting at the moment. But
Season 2, yeah.
And he does so many things all at the same time. But he was so shocked leading that nomination pack with 4 nominations for a Best Actor, what Americans would call a leading male in a series, but very, very exciting. Let's talk about the history of the National Film and Video Foundation firstly, and your involvement, with the South African Film and Television Awards.
So the National Film and Video Foundation, otherwise known as the NFVF, for short, was enacted in 1997. and we are an agency of the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture. And essentially our role is to drive the equitable growth of the film and audiovisual industry. So our role is really we fund across the board when it comes to filmmaking. But in addition to that, we are the custodians of the SAFTAs. So we've been doing them for quite a number of years. And then obviously this year is SAFTAs 18. So in terms of our ambit with regards to the industry, even though we don't fund, things like acting and those types of performing arts, that's usually the focus of the NAC, the National Arts Council, because the SAFTAs is a comprehensive accolade for individuals from all across the industry, both TV and film, then we definitely do recognize all practitioners in the industry.
The importance of such awards ceremonies I guess not even the ceremony, the importance of such award recognitions for the television and film sector in South Africa. Talk to us about the impact that this has on the industry, both for the business of the industry as well as the creatives and the talents who come together to bring us these incredible characters.
And that's an amazing question, because I think people only look at the cosmetic aspect of an award without the appreciation for how it can really lead the charge for a person's career or a production company. Just in the concept of films, for example, when films win awards or get selected at certain film festivals, or they win awards from certain film festivals, all of that definitely adds to the value of the film when it has to be sold by distributors. It positions the film differently when the films are entered to different types of awards shows, especially in the international scene. So in the context of the SAFTAs, the principle is the same, even though we're working in quite a different quite a different environment. So either way, when you get a nomination, people will say that in itself is a win, which is true, because that nod of recognition definitely says something about your ability, your skill, and to the team that is working on getting you more acting gigs, and getting you to those auditions. That definitely adds to your value in front of any casting director. So the nomination in itself then becomes such a great calling card for you as a practitioner, and then obviously the win can definitely set you apart. So I think that we'll still get to a phase where it can really, really be the difference between your earning potential, particularly as a performing artist. We'll get there in this industry, but I definitely think we're well on our way.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, and I think, as you talk about the earning potential, it brings me to a conversation with another renowned and supremely talented South African actress, Lerato Mvelase, who herself has been a recipient of the South African Film and Television Awards. And she was nominated recently for the Royalty Soapy Awards. And she was talking about it will be great if for artists, as well as not just artists even, as well as crew, when we get to a point where these awards also translate in the remuneration of talent and skill.
Yeah, so I mean, if you think about it in corporates, when you get an MBA, for example, it automatically sets your earning potential apart. If you are studying accounting, right? You studying accounting and having the basic degree and your honors degree from university, versus you qualifying and doing a board exam and becoming a chartered accountant, that sets your earning potential apart. So that's what I was saying. Eventually, we will get there as an industry where this type of an accolade speaks to that, right? So someone might say, well, getting a qualification and getting an award are two different things. Yes and no. And I say no because in other parts of the world, in your international markets and in your industries, which have a much more refined commercial life cycle towards it. An Academy Award nomination, an Academy Award win definitely sets you apart in terms of your earning potential. Your name when casting directors mention you, right? They mention that knowing that the value of that individual has gone up. So that I think will come with a lot more collaboration in terms of driving up the investment value in this industry. But it starts with an award show such as the SAFTAs consistently implementing and executing for years and not necessarily having a gap here and there. So we've been around for 18 years, and we're not about to stop anytime soon, because that already gives credibility to the platform that's giving you the accolade, the consistency of the platform itself, its ability to implement at a higher spec every single year, which is something that we've proven. So we'll definitely get there.
Absolutely. And of course, they say no good deed goes unpunished. There were some people on when the nominations list came out, and there were some folks complaining about their faves that were left out and this person for this role. Maybe just quickly, illuminate folks on how the selections and the panels work for the nominations.
Well, I mean, I think before I even say that, I think the positive aspect of that is it just shows you the extent and the level to which people are engaged in South African content, and they love local content. And I think, a couple of years ago, there was someone who, quite a controversial character, spoke about having 90% local content on TV. Yeah. And everyone thought it was crazy, but today, it's such a... It's at the center, right, of this industry. So I think the first thing is that it's such a positive thing that you have people engaging in that way. But secondly, to respond to your question, the process is quite long. And at the onset of it, there's a call that goes out, public call, for there to be submissions made. So ultimately, if submissions are not made for a specific performance in a show, for a specific, by the production company. Yeah. If those submissions are not made, right, it already takes you out of the game. So it starts at a submissions process. I think the perception is that people at the SAFTA sit and decide. This is an independent process where we appoint just about 200 individuals to be jury members and to evaluate the submissions that have come through. And all of those people have at least 10 years experience in the game. So it's not people that, have started yesterday. And there's quite a long process where they go through the submissions, and then for about a week, they come together and they deliberate on every single category that they've reviewed on, and they come up with a nominations list. So sometimes it does happen where a production would have submitted under an incorrect category, but ultimately the decision of the nominations is at the discretion of the jury members. Absolutely. At the discretion of them, because it's very important that this process is kept independent, and at no point can anyone be told that, there was a specific person from the NFEF/the SAFTAs that wanted whoever to be nominated or to win. It's an independent process. It's decided for by the industry. Those jury members are industry people themselves, who themselves have been in the game long enough.
Absolutely. Onke Dumego, we have to leave it there for today. And Onke is the head of operations for the National Film and Video Foundation. But hopefully we'll see you out at that red carpet come the 26th of October. We appreciate the time with you today. And of course, there's also been some new categories, by the way, that have been added to the 18th South African Film and Television Awards, the likes of Best Achievement in Visual Effects and Best Original Song. So definitely expanding on the various skills and talents that it takes to put together a production and recognizing people in various spaces. Let's take a quick pause here, and then we come back and we catch up on the fair, the Art Joburg, that's currently happening.
Amatag's ladies target all 3 essential points to climb up the ladder, but the ladies from eThekwini plan to demonstrate a sense of urgency to move from the bottom half. This is the Hollywood Bet Super League. Catch Mzansi Queens of the beautiful game. University of Pretoria Ladies FC versus Durban Ladies FC on Saturday, 7 September at 2:30 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4, SABC 1 and SABC radio stations. Also available at your fingertips on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
So Sharon at the office was telling me the way drip is so expensive these days. She's now waiting for her old clothes to come back into fashion. I say, Joza, while you're waiting, why not let your money do the things in a NetBank Just Invest account where you can get your money after 24 hours notice? Organ voiceman.
In Jalo Mabel, you can earn up to 8.75% interest. Anyone can open an investment account via the Money app in under 2 minutes. See money differently. NetBank. We're a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. Promo rates apply.
Stages, pages, screens, and more on The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga.
Well, there's been some rather exciting nominations for the SAFTAs this year, the likes of Hlengiwe Lushaba Madlala, and she acts the role of Umamkunu on My Brother's Keeper, and she's been nominated for that role for season 1, which was phenomenal. She does such a great job, and season 2 is now started, and she's really, I was actually watching and thinking, what a wow. I love how they made the setup for the woman in season 1, only for them to then come back in season 2 and really just shake things up there with that bull of a man. Oh, I met him in person the other day, but that's a story that we'll save for when he is in studio one day for full access. I had a proper fan out moment when I met Ushabalala the other day out at Design Court. I had to stop him and his wife while they were doing shopping and say, I love to hate you on television. I'm your biggest fan, but you're so manipulative. And he was so gracious with his time, and we had a lovely conversation. But right now, though, we are talking Art Joburg, and we're catching up with Kim Candon, who is the fair manager at Art Joburg. Lots of exciting things happening for 2024, and they opened up yesterday with the preview evening. How are you doing, Kim?
Hi, Bridget. Good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. So, the energy is you can feel it. The energy is all in the air in Johannesburg as art enthusiasts and creatives gather for Art Fair 2024. Give us a rundown on, the first night, the preview night that just took place.
Absolutely, that's absolutely correct. So you'll see it across Joburg, our beautiful signs and our beautiful pink, F&B Art Joburg 2024. So last night was great. We had around 1,800 guests coming in for the preview, and to see the 41 odd galleries that we have presented from all over across Africa. Of course, our blue chip galleries from South Africa and across the continent, and then the younger galleries in our lab section. Who have come down to show, those emerging artists and greats that will be future greats, actually. So it was a really, really lovely night.
I think for folks who are still finding their feet in the art world, it's always advisable to go to an art fair, just to sort of stimulate your senses from every level. Give us the benefits of experiencing the space. If you really are a novice and perhaps uncertain about this particular world, but have a curiosity towards it.
Absolutely. So we love to say that F&B Art Joburg is the biggest exhibition under one roof, because we bring all the great galleries down to one space. So it allows you to really see everything in one room. You get the gallery directors in one room, you get the artists in one room, you get the art in one room, and you see everything all at once. It can be a bit overwhelming, so you should come back maybe over 2 days. But it really does allow you to see everything at once. Take your time, look through the booths, talk to the gallerists. I know a lot of the time it can be a bit, you can be a bit apprehensive to talk to the gallerist, but talk to them, ask them about the work, ask them about the price. If you like it, ask them about a long-term payment plan. It happens in the art world. And you'll see how amenable people really are in the art world.
Yeah. By way of folks, and I know I put you in an unfair position, but people like to know who perhaps the next future masters are going to be, or who should they be casting their eyes on?
Yeah, that's difficult to say. That's difficult to say. Maybe I can answer it by saying we have our own art prize,
Yeah.
the FNB Art Prize, and this year we awarded it to a great painter from Zimbabwe, Gresham Tapiwa in Yaoundé. So maybe he's one to look out for. But it's always very good to buy from a credible gallery, and that's why our fair is gallery focused. We work with galleries, and galleries represent artists, and so you know that the career is being managed, and you know that the artist is being supported.
Yeah.
And when you buy a work, you know that it could possibly increase in value and that you are buying an investment, hopefully.
Absolutely. Well, listen, even if investments aside, just, buy for the social equity of it, because nobody in this world has a magic ball to be able to predict what happens in 5 years or 10 years to anything that you buy. And as we sort of wrap it up, there's always a lot of activity apart from the socializing that happens at art fairs. There's also some informative conversations and workshops. Are there any plans for such at Art Joburg this year?
Absolutely. We have a full-on public program over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, really. And it's our Orcs Talks program sponsored by ITU. And we have talks running from 12 until about 4 p.m. With great artists that we have, such as Penny Siopis launching a book. So she'll be here talking about that during book signings. We also have the Venice Pavilion curators who'll be giving us more of an in-depth understanding of how that space was curated in Venice for those who didn't go and couldn't see. But also around that, we have our Open City program, which really takes art activations into the city. So should you not be able to come to the fair over these 4 days, you can go and do something at an activation that's happening in your city, and that's all available on our website. On the Open City program, we have about 71 activations happening throughout Joburg. Music, fashion, food, exhibitions, poetry, readings, all of it gets listed on Open City. So there's lots of things to do throughout Joburg.
Fabulous stuff. Kim, we appreciate the time with you this afternoon. That was Kim Candon, Fair Manager at the FNB Art Joburg. And like I said to you earlier, they are activating the entire city. So if you can't get out to the fair, there's lots of activities for you to be on the lookout for. It's just gone at 10 to 1 o'clock. It's time for us to take a quick pause, and then we come back and we get into Nali Bali.
Life is always good in the top half. However, it requires consistency. That's what the University of Johannesburg and First Touch ladies want to deliver. This is the Hollywood Bet Super League. Catch Mzansi Queens of the beautiful game. UJ Ladies FC versus First Touch Ladies FC on Sunday, 8 September at 2:30 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4, SABC 1 and SABC radio stations. Also available at your fingertips on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
And welcome to Nali Bali. Do you have a pet? Well, owning a pet is like having a fairy, feathery or scaly friend that becomes a special part of your family. One thing you learn is responsibility. Taking care of a pet means making sure they have food, water and a cozy place to sleep. It's like having a little buddy who relies on you for love and care. Pets also teach us about routine. Feeding them, taking them for walks, or cleaning their space becomes a regular part of your day. It's like having a schedule that involves spending time with your pet and making sure they're happy and healthy. Today's story is called Rover the Gut Cat, written by Natasha Simon. But before we listen to today's story, let's all get up and dance! Rover was a little kitten who lived on the big bustling farm. But Rover wasn't like the other cats on the farm. You see, Rover had been adopted and raised along with the farm dogs. When the farmer had found Rover wandering around in the barn, he'd felt sorry for the little kitten and decided to raise it with his dogs. Rover got her name because she loved to explore every corner of the farm. From the fields to the barns, Rover was always on the move. As Rover grew, she wanted to help out on the farm just like the dogs did. She saw the sheepdogs herding the sheep, the guard dogs keeping watch, and retrievers fetching the morning newspapers. But whenever Rover tried to join in, things didn't go quite as planned. One sunny day, Rover thought she could help the sheepdogs by herding the sheep. But as she darted among the sheep, she got swallowed up by tall green grass. The sheep couldn't see her. Rover couldn't see the sheep. Where is Rover? The sheep wondered. Then Rover tried to help the guard dogs by barking to alert the farmer about any trouble. However, when Rover tried to bark, it sounded more like a mix between a meow and a squeak. The farmer couldn't hear her over the loud farm noises. Rover felt frustrated. One morning, Rover decided she could be a retriever like the other dogs. She set her sight on the morning newspaper, determined to fetch it for the farmer. But when she tried to pick it up, the newspaper was too big for her tiny mouth. She tried and tried, but she couldn't lift it. Rover felt sad. She couldn't help on the farm like the other dogs could. She sat in the shade, her head dropping. Ruffles, one of the guard dogs, noticed Rover's gloomy expression. He wagged his tail and said,
"Hey, Rover, why do you look so sad?"
Rover sighed.
I want to help on the farm like you and the other dogs, but I'm not a very good farm dog.
Ruffles grinned.
"Don't worry, Rover. We'll figure something out. Let's go around the farm and see if there's a job that suits you just right."
So Rover and Ruffles explored the farm together. They sniffed here and there, looking for any work Rover could do. Then they discovered a big problem. Rats were stealing the chickens' food. Ruffles sniffed around and found a hole where the rats were hiding.
"You must hide where the rats can't see you. Then, when they come out to steal the chicken's food, you must chase them away."
Ruffles told Rover. So Rover hid nearby and then patiently watched and waited. Soon the rats crept out of the hole and headed straight for the chicken's food. They didn't see Rover in a hiding place. With a loud Rover pounced. The rats got such a fright that they scurried away in fear. Rover quickly chased them all off the farm. The farmer was overjoyed.
"Wow, Rover, you really did that? You're a hero,"
he exclaimed. And all the other dogs barked and wagged their tails in agreement. Woo, 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 woo. From that day on, Rover became the official guard cat for the farm. Her job was to look after the chickens' food. She kept the cats away, which made the farmer and the chickens very happy. Rover had finally found her place on the farm. She wasn't a farm dog after all, but she certainly was a very special farm cat. And so we come to the end of another Nali Bali story time. Today's story was called Rover the Gut Cat, written by Natasha Simon. Did you know that reading and telling stories to children at home can help them do better at school? If you want free stories to read to your children or for your children to enjoy on their own, visit Nali Bali website www.nalibali.org or Mobi site www.nalibali.mobi. You will find stories in 11 South African languages, as well as tips for reading and sharing stories with your children to grow their potential. Also look out for the bilingual Nali Bali Reading for Enjoyment supplements with great children's stories and activities available in newspapers. Nali Bali, it starts with a story.
Just a reminder that Essential Cover from Outsurance pays out claims in cash, allowing you to choose your own panel beater. Simply SMS CAR to 43187 now.
The top story is at 2 o'clock. 11 traffic cops are arrested for corruption, and the Justice Minister denies corruption allegations. A very good afternoon. 11 traffic officers have been arrested for alleged corruption in Limpopo. They were arrested by the Hawks for allegedly soliciting bribes from offending motorists. In a statement, the Limpopo Transport Department says these are serious allegations which undermine the government's efforts to promote and maintain safe roads. The department says it will also institute its own internal disciplinary measures against the officers. Justice Minister Thembisi Melane has denied allegations that she had an improper relationship with the service provider appointed by the Polokwane municipality, Gundo Wealth Solutions. She appeared before Parliament following allegations that her relationship with the contractor landed her a loan from the now-defunct VBS Bank in 2016 when she was mayor. Simelane received the loan to buy a coffee shop. The minister explains.
I asked Gundu for advice on how best I could finance, and in those discussions Gundu then informed me and advised of a loan product that they have that I could access. In consideration for the options loan, Gundu was not a service provider as there existed no conflict in my view in securing a loan from Gundu. I took a decision to proceed with the business. I'd like to draw to a close and affirm that there was no improper relationship. I requested for a loan. A loan was advanced.
Friends and family of media personality Thabiso Sikwane have honored and celebrated her life at her funeral service in Centurion in Pretoria. Sikwane died last week after a short illness. The seasoned broadcaster had a distinguished career, gracing the airwaves of various radio stations, including SAFM. Sikwane family spokesperson Sikwane Senior says Thabiso was an intellect of note.
We normally say the sky is the limit. Thabiso was by that sky. The level Godimkwana operated in, she has contributed immensely to my knowledge in terms of mind power. So I am an author myself as well, through Monsieur Yalonai.
Tourism specialists say that the high cost of air flights as well as visa restrictions are some of the major challenges inhibiting tourism growth in Africa. This emerged at the 7th Africa Tourism Leadership Forum in Gaborone, Botswana. It brought together tourism leaders from 43 countries across Africa with the aim of increasing economic investment through tourism. Devota Mdachi from the National College of Tourism in Tanzania says while a lot of work is being done to promote tourism on the continent, the exorbitant cost associated with flight connectivity often turns potential travelers away.
Post-COVID, most African governments, including Tanzania, are trying to encourage the private sector to promote the destination not outside of the continent but within the continent. It could be the cost of running those aviation companies, but also maybe the taxes involved. That makes the cost of tickets more expensive than tickets going to Europe.
And former U.S. President Donald Trump has announced that if he wins again in November's election, he'll appoint his billionaire supporter Elon Musk to head a government efficiency commission. Speaking at the New York Economics Club, the Republican candidate said the commission would develop a plan to eliminate fraud and improper payments within 6 months. In response, Musk wrote on his social media platform X that he would look forward to serving if the opportunity arises. The top story at 2 o'clock, 11 traffic officers have been arrested for alleged corruption in Limpopo. For SAFM News, Ke Mulupi Makhalemele, The Full Circle continues.
Sure. You understand what I'm saying? And I generally...
And just by way of a reminder right there that that's the news for this hour. Theft, accident and 1 million rand liability cover, all covered by Outsurance Essential. Get a quote today. Simply SMS car to 43187. Outsurance Essential is a low-cost insurance for older cars. A 34-year-old woman pays only 373 rand a month for her 2007 white Mazda 2 1.3 Dynamic and gets paid cash so she can choose her own panel beater after an accident. Get the cover you need. Get Outsurance Essential today for unfinanced cars older than 5 years and valued at less than 125,000 rand. It's time to switch and save. SMS car to 43187. That's car to 43187 today. Remember that Outsurance is a licensed FSP and T's and C's do apply.
They will all walk onto the pitch with victory on their minds, but the final whistle will reveal who wants it the most, who will display football brilliance. This is the Hollywood Bet Super League. Catch Mzansi Queens of the beautiful game. TUT Matatanta Ladies FC versus the University of Fort Hare Ladies FC on Saturday, 7 September at 11 a.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Also available at your fingertips on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
Tune in to catch the rebirth of Mubango's new season on SABC2 every Monday to Friday at 9 p.m. and experience the drama and excitement with new intriguing characters like Dr. Nonhlanhlo Chimba, played by Leleti Kumalo, and of course your usual faves Azwendini, Rendani, Debucho, and yes, of course, Khosi. It's a renaissance of new beginnings, love, secrets, and betrayal. Remember, that's every Monday to Friday at 9 p.m. on SABC2.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
I mean, he walks into the room and the energy changes. The vibrations suddenly get a little bit louder, a little bit more colorful, a little bit higher. He's in the building. Well, he's always in the building, but he decided to take the elevator to the 6th floor for the first time ever in all of his years. And we thought we'd welcome him in the only way that he knows how, that rings familiar.
Okay. All right, I feel home. I feel comfortable. I'm at home.
How are you, Thibaut Touch?
To be honest?
Yes.
We take it for granted, but I generally am at a point in my life where I say there are no deficits in my universe, so I'm good.
Oh, that's power.
I'm good.
There are no deficits in your universe. No. That's a beautiful position to be in, though.
Yeah.
Right? And we're not just talking monetary here, right?
No,
like expand for us.
Spiritually, I used to be somewhere mentally and emotionally, but I'll be in a spiritual drought. And I feel like when you reach that hybrid mode of operation where you are operating at the highest vibration emotionally, cognitively, the funny thing, I was thinking this morning, I haven't bought anything this week.
Bought anything?
Anything. It's the first time in my life I haven't bought any. Like, I'm in a good space. I used to do things to cover such certain emotion or put things in suspense. So when I say there are no deficits in my universe, I am spiritually where I want to be. I'm emotionally where I want to be. I am physically, I'm working out every morning. I'm in amazing shape, man. Have you seen my six-pack?
Listen, okay, you want to show us?
No, but honestly, I'm great, and I'm doing enough to society. I feel good about the burden I have chosen as my assignment. I'm not light at all. I have a lot of responsibilities that I should take. I look after people that I never brought to this world, and I'm fulfilled by that. So it's a great space to be in.
I mean, listen, it's a wonderful space, and we're catching up with him as Thibaut Touch, born Thabo Molefe, radio broadcaster, legendary radio broadcaster, multifaceted man right here, a businessman, an entrepreneur, a spiritual man as well. And I love what you say right now, and sort of your opening sentiment about there not being any deficit. I was watching an interview that you did recently, and you said in the interview that you promised yourself that when you have resources, when you get to a place when you have resources, that you'd never complain about having too much.
No, not at all. Because you can't be this accomplished in life and still move from a half-empty cup. There are people you can threaten with losing a job. You can't threaten me with that. You can't threaten me with being broke. You can't threaten me with, when you black coming from Sharpeville, there's things you can't threaten. You can't threaten anybody by what they've been through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like in the Bible, Lazarus was dead when Christ rose him from the dead. So you can't threaten Lazarus with death. He's been there. I don't know why people freak out when they go back to where they used to be, because the same muscle memory to emancipate yourself out of your situation is going to be applied in your next problem. You understand what I'm saying? So we don't live problem-free life, but why I'm going through this problem, I'm gaining enough muscle memory to know how to resuscitate myself out of it. So I've been out of a job. You can't threaten me. I cannot go to work to please my boss because I'm scared he'll fire me. I've been off air. The difference is I started my own. I put myself on air. So and for black people, I'm not saying gravitate towards poverty, but don't let money drive your principles. Because a lot of us are scared to speak out or to be ourselves because we're protecting security, we're protecting comfort. But who do you believe in then? Is he not the God of the unknown? Like, I can go literally anywhere in the world at 8 a.m. By 5 o'clock, I'll have a house. Whether I'm renting it or I bought it.
Yeah.
I'll have shelter. You know what I mean? I'll have food. I
like that.
Yeah, my vibration is on another level. I don't see lack anymore. if I disagree with you, it's a projection of your own turmoil, not me. So if I sell to a client like I am now, I'm selling replenishment concept to different brands. If they don't come on board, there's nothing wrong with my product. It's their space. It's where they are. Their brand does not fit with my strategy at that time. So I don't interpret a rejection as something wrong with me. You understand what I'm saying? I'm dishing aces on the table.
Tell me this, I want to call you Tabo because we talk about,
call me whatever you want to call me.
But tell me this, because I know you're very much a faith-centered person, right?
Sure.
And when you talk about, you can't threaten me about where I've been.
Yeah.
I like that so much, because a lot of people function from the perspective of, we call it the scarcity mentality.
Sure.
That you almost, you don't want to say, you don't want to shake the ground, you don't want to act in any kind of way, because what if things are taken from me?
Right.
Is that because of the journey, or coming to this point, is it in part because of the journey you've traveled with your faith and the things you've lived through in life? How do you get to this perspective?
You know what's amazing about a dream, right? You don't know you're dreaming until it shocks you.
Yeah.
You do not press the start button when you're dreaming. You don't. Some dreams have no inception. You realize that I was dreaming because it's contrary to your reality. So there's this unfathomable abyss about a dream that only becomes real when it is extended itself beyond your reality. You're like, oh, I was a billionaire in my dream. As soon as you realize it's contrary to your belief, contrary to your situation, then you realize it's a dream. Why do we then come back after we dream to a life that dictates to us on how far we got to apply our mind with what we pursue? If your dreams can paint a picture of you being Bridget, oceanfront, 10 million rand house at Clifton, $20 million house in Miami. If your dreams can take you there, do you know things don't get deposited in your mind because God doesn't have content to allow or to deposit in your system? The reason why some of us conceive certain thoughts, we have the capacity to manifest them.
Say that again.
I don't believe circumstances are as present to our reality than our mind is. Think about it. I can arrive here right now dealing with a court debate with a client who's not trying to pay me, or I'm not trying to pay them. And I allow that situation to overpower my emotions. Now, this first time on SAFM Opportunity, I brought problems that were not supposed to be here because I've just aborted the opportunity of creating a legendary moment being with you. Some of us show up in situations where we're supposed to be to spring and be a blessing or receive, but we brought our old breakup with whoever we're in a relationship with. Sometimes you go on a beautiful date with somebody new, but you bring in your old experience. So you sit in there, apprehension is having dinner with apprehension. What's going to come out of that? And we do it in the boardroom. We do it in business. So I know clients who, when they say we're not doing this with you, they expect me to be like, oh man, I'm down. I'm like, great, reject me, because rejection is direction for me. The reason why this door is closed, there's an open one. When I walk through it, it was meant for me. So where I am, without sounding like I'm one of those gurus on YouTube, in my life, 2024, I'm sitting on things that I said I will have at this age, at this time. My 6 months ago need is not what I do, what I'm reaching out for, or what I'm trying to pursue. My goals at this part of the year are far than where I was in January. And it took application of the same thought every day, consistently, with my highs and my lows, with fighting with people next to my space, with not agreeing with certain people around me. Everything I planned came to pass, not because I'm special, because I'm blessed. There was resilience, dedication, a lot of you crazy. When I told people I'm going to real estate, when I told people I'm going to go into this, and these are things that makes ordinary people freak out and say, but you've got a paycheck at Metro and it's good enough. Why dream more? The reason why I dream more, because I believe more.
Yeah. Preach.
No, I'm just saying. So what I'm in pursuit of is in direct relation to how much I believe.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here because I'm a believer. Right here on this chair.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. And there's a believer that's connecting with me right now. And those energies are going to click. And when those energies click, I might meet that person at a business or first class lounge at the airport and said, I like what you said when you're on Bridget's show. I'm like, oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm a CMO of this bank or this company. Let's do something.
I hear you.
Business don't start with good ideas. They start with great energy clicking.
That's true.
People, you know what I learned about people with money? They do business with people they like. They don't do business with people who have good ideas. They do business with people they like.
That is the truth. Here's the thing that you just said now, and it reminds me, so last week we had Laduma here for about an hour, and we were talking about his journey, obviously building Matxhosa and everything that has come out of that.
Right.
And he was talking about the expansion to New York, right? And how the plans were set in place long before COVID. COVID happened and everything that subsequently froze the world and turned it upside down. And yet he persisted to open the store. And I said to him, well, wasn't there apprehension? And he said, Bridget, the environment around you might change. The circumstances might vary, but the plan remains steadfast. And you got to stick to the plan.
You have to, Bridget. You have to. And let me tell you, he's going to be more successful than he ever was in South Africa because we have the bucket crab mentality.
Yeah.
It's very sad that all people you're making reference of have to leave SA. And I don't subscribe to that kumbaya nonsense. Everybody on social media loves what you do. Yo, dog, no, for real. I've learned this about, I'm going to say South Africans to be precise, okay? I've had enough experiences to conclude that we are not intentional about seeing each other win. And I'm using me. We're not intentional about seeing each other win because I put out products and I'm supported by people who don't know me. And the very ones who are close to me are always telling me, be careful of what you say, you might offend this. Why do I subscribe to your mode of thinking if you don't even add value to my ecosystem? Latuma is going to be so successful in the US. He's going to do so well. One day he's going to sponsor some kids to go to NYU, and somebody's going to crucify him and say, what about Abantwana Bala UJ? We are the best critiques, but the worst supporters or investors in any of our dreams. Trevor Noah wouldn't be where he is if he remained in South Africa. Somebody would have never been where she is if she remained here. And I'm not saying the key to success is to leave this country. The key to success is for us to be honest with ourselves, face each other in the mirror, and repent.
We're hanging out with Thibaut Touch. We're stealing some time from him. As you know, around about this time, he's usually also getting ready for his show, which kicks off at 3 o'clock downstairs.
Oh, don't worry about the touchdown. The touchdown is on autopilot.
Where does the faith come from? I mean, do you come from a faith-based home?
Hard.
Yeah.
I'm a grandson of a pioneer. I'm a grandson of a man who in 1954 met with J.G. Stradom at the Union Building and said, I want to establish the first charismatic church, not faith Baptist. I want to study my own movement. My grandfather started multiple numbers of churches across the country as an independent. Back then, to get a license to operate as an independent in the 50s, you had to come under the Assemblies of God, the Baptist, the NG Kerk. You have to be a franchise church.
Yeah.
He was one of the first to pioneer that space. And big shout out to the greats like Abomkhulu Nicholas Bengu, who he worked with in those days. So I did not choose my family.
Yeah.
I didn't choose my race. I didn't choose my gender. But I made a choice to take the legacy of the salvation that was bestowed from birth. And by doing the replenishment concert, it's just me walking in my family's footsteps. I do it in my sleep, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
course, there's experience of staging events. I was the first to bring John Legend to South Africa. I was the first to bring Busta Rhymes to SA. I was the first to bring Akon. I was the first to bring... I did a whole lot of first
Hey, I went
concerts.
to all those concerts.
Yeah. I did a 50 Cent concert back at the Coca-Cola Dome. Yeah. I did a whole lot of stuff. And so why can't I reroute that energy in a family gospel environment where nobody's worried about being robbed or there's no one beefing with anyone? It's a beautiful space. We got family brands. Kids are free. And I do it because there's a need to demonstrate excellence in doing God's work. You know, when you go to church, we sometimes forgive things that we'll never forgive when we are in a club.
Yep.
So why do we then reduce our standard when there is an element of spirituality involved?
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
I get you. And we're definitely going to come back on the other side of the headline news. I'm going to steal like 5-10 more minutes of your time. And we're going to talk about the concert. But I want to quickly just go to WhatsApp quickly before we get to the headline news. 061-410-4107 is our WhatsApp line. We're hanging out in studio with legendary radio broadcaster Thibaut Touch joins me in studio. And we're just catching up with him. And then we'll catch up as well around the concert. Let's hear what you have to say.
Hi, Bridget, your team, and the listeners. Wow, thank you so much, Bridget, for bringing Thibaut Touch. I'm like blown away. Few minutes, a few words that he said. You know, the big one for me is don't let money define your principle. You're speaking to Konzi here in KwaZulu-Natal. Thank you very much.
KZN, my grandmother's home.
Listen, that's my home. And before we get into the headline news, Konzi, so when I go home to visit my mom and we get to, parents and you talk about everything. And when we start talking about, resilience and having the faith and the power to just keep fighting, because our sector, our work requires a lot from us a lot of the time. Emotionally, my mom always brings up your name all the time. She'd be like,
does she know she could have been my mother-in-law? Ma,
flatter me.
Lord, Bridget wasn't looking right.
Oh, whatever.
Bridget will have a blue passport by now. Going through, let me not say.
I can't do them. So I understand what he's saying because when you speak, it's intergenerational. It resonates with so many folks, and my mom always says she appreciates how you've won big publicly. You've lost big publicly, and you've been authentic and real about it. But hold your thought. We'll come back on the other side of Madupi.
Thanks, Bridge. Good afternoon. In your headlines, 16 illegal miners have been arrested during a joint operation by the police and soldiers at Pilgrim's Rest in Mpumalanga. 11 traffic officers have been arrested for alleged corruption in Limpopo, and the UN says both sides in Sudan's civil war have committed atrocities that may amount to war crimes and crimes against humanity. A full news update at the top of the hour.
Amatag's ladies target all 3 essential points to climb up the ladder, but the ladies from eThekwini plan to demonstrate a sense of urgency to move from the bottom half. This is the Hollywood Bet Super League. Catch Mzansi Queens of the beautiful game. University of Pretoria Ladies FC versus Durban Ladies FC on Saturday, 7 September at 2:30 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4, SABC 1 and SABC radio stations. Also available at your fingertips on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
At Ashupur, we understand the needs of those we serve. We are over 110 years old, and we are still here to serve you. Named Best Life Insurer by Forbes, would like to thank you for helping us grow and tell our story into the future. You made us the trusted insurer we are today. SMS serve to 44366 and we'll call you back. Ashupur is an insurer licensed to conduct life insurance business, an authorized financial services provider. FSP 53, T's and C's to apply.
we can simply talk about the song that you love, the song that helps you through the day, a song that might have helped you through difficult times, or a song that means something to you. Sylvia, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much.
Why do you love this song?
I don't know. Every time I listen to the song, it just touches me. I don't know.
Tabiso Sikwane on SAFM, South Africa's news and information leader.
SAFM sends its deepest condolences. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Arts, culture, and robust conversations with Bridget Masinga.
So we're having candid conversations off air and just a light moment between us. So every time, let me paint you a picture. Every time we leave, I was saying to my camera operator in here that when we leave the show, and a lot of us park in one sort of area in the building, and when Thibaut touches park there, I often go and go, yeah, nah, the billionaire's corner. He's the only person who parks in the billionaire's corner, by the way. No one else.
I don't know what you're talking about. I know.
You know,
I don't know what you're talking
he
about.
He stunts on us every day. He makes you think, darn, I got to work a little bit harder.
That's not what I do. I just come to work and I do a good show, I believe.
Yeah.
And I have fun. I love it. Yeah. You know, one time I got suspended for parking my Porsche at Cloudy's parking lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you suspended for parking it there because it was a Porsche?
I was late. And I didn't know that was his spot. So Cloudy had a spot inside downstairs,
yes.
K2.
Yeah.
And he had one on the same parking lot that you're referring to. So I parked my car there, and he found out it was me. Sent me a text and said, I'm going to get a call from my manager.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, oh, cool. I'm about to have a meeting with this guy. And he told me I'm suspect. We had an amazing relationship. Him and I were so great. We had fun. And I traveled with him to New York. We did so many things. But the way he punished me was like, he doesn't know me like that. I'm like, dude, I don't know. You know, some relationships are like that.
Right? But also I feel like you kind of push the envelope, on the occasion. And so from time to time, probably just need someone to just a little bit,
Has it worked, though?
I don't know. And you're the only one who can tell us. Has it worked?
You know why I asked you that? Because every time when I structure the show, I look at where's my DNA on that show. And if there's no cliffhanger or crazy moment, it doesn't resonate with me. But management will interpret that as insubordination or some kind of insolent behavior. And that's not my intention at all. Today's radio is so demanding. If you do not create appointment listenership, you are going to sink or find yourself losing audience over TikTok, Instagram. People are content fatigue. Nobody's tuning in for an average ride. So if I don't have a crazy moment, why am I showing up at work? I need to give you a reason why you should be off social media. You should be off streaming Netflix, because I'm in the building.
True.
And I'm going to give you a journey you can't even fathom. So when I don't see that, I literally go into serious depression. That's how much I love radio.
And listen, and radio has loved you right back. Do you see yourself ever choosing to hang up the mic?
Very soon.
Really?
Yeah, funny that you asked me that. I don't see myself in radio in the next 2 years.
Serious?
100%.
Yeah.
It's the first time I'm actually saying this. Yeah.
Do you think you've given it all you've got to give, or you want to exit on a high?
Let me explain why I say I don't see myself on air in the next couple of years, if not 2 years. I want to go into the business of radio now. I realize there's an opportunity to sell radio better. And I think there's a slight misrepresentation in how radio is sold. And I'm going to disrupt the space like you don't understand. A lot of ad spend is going to digital.
Yeah.
But the reason why it's going to digital, because we don't know how to evolve the matrix of selling radio. You can't sell radio the same way you used to do it 30 years or 20 years or 10 years ago. Now, there are things that Touch HD taught me that I'm still banking. I haven't even opened that reservoir. But I'm about to be intentional with the business of sales. It's about to get crazy. I've already triggered a couple of clients, and I went to present the model. They were like blown away. They're like, how did you establish this? First of all, we are streaming right now while we live on air.
Yeah.
But you're selling the on-air component.
There's no revenue on the stream.
Where's the revenue on the stream?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm not dishing out more. This is my IP. Yes, tell the CEO of SABC she's going to have to cut the biggest check ever. Call your whole sales team at SABC. I'll give you a 2-month tutorial at 100 million or 10% of every fiscal revenue.
Sis Nomsa, you are listening.
I hope she is.
She listens.
I presented this to my daughter, the former CEO of SABC last year. He was blown away.
There we go.
Then he's like, can we implement this? Can we implement it at SABC? I'm like, no, you cannot.
But you know what I love about this thinking, and and it's not a slight to our sort of radio colleagues, but it's observation even through my journey and some of the conversations I've had with people who, Greg Maloko has been my mentor for many years.
Yeah.
And a lot of people go, there are very few broadcasters or presenters, whatever you choose to call them, who understand the business of radio and who actively participate in the business of radio.
Right.
A lot of our colleagues, even legendary radio people,
come on,
don't approach this like this. They want to come on the mic, do the thing, and leave.
And that's not, and that's okay. Some people are fulfilled being on the field to play.
Yeah.
Because all they want to do is play. Some of us, we want to own the team.
There we go.
So Touch HD was my MBA. I had to learn in a space where nobody tells me that I'm crazy. I did my 6 years of MBA. When I tell you the hybrid sale model that I've developed, I didn't even develop it. It's been there. So I probably might do it earlier than 2 years, but I don't see doing it and being on air. I love radio. I love being on. So I will not leave. I will open up opportunities for younger Thibaut Touches, far better than Thibaut Touches, to come in the space. But I want to be on the main table now.
Gotcha.
I looked at the money I brought last year on Metro. I looked at the money I brought the year before. It's looking beautiful. It's nice to come back and people believe in you, and the revenue goes high from the years you were not on air. I wouldn't want to stay if I was a liability. So there's evidence of coming back, and you take a hockey stick effect to your balance sheet. That's very important. It's not just being skilled.
Yeah.
It's being commercially viable in your execution of links.
Absolutely.
Your execution of segments. And also understanding, what about unsold inventory? You understand what I'm saying? So I'm already in the business. I don't know why I keep talking like I'm already in that business. That's why I will never leave radio, but the business of radio is my next passion than the microphone.
Okay, I've run out of time because my next guest is here. Let's touch on the concert.
Yes.
So we've got the replenishment concert. It's coming back.
Yes.
This is the third time.
It's the third year.
A compliment, kudos to you. I had a friend of mine who worked on the production for the first one. He said it was the first time when he left a production, when you had your debrief meeting, where there was a debrief meeting firstly, and where already the date for the second and the third was set.
Yes.
And he said, kudos to Thibaut Touch actually for being a structured businessman.
Thank you. I don't believe in one night stand. So when I do an event like replenishment, we have a 4 or 5 year plans. Even my clients, my advertisers, I tell them, this is our 5-year plan, but we're going to come back to year 1 and perfect it.
Yeah.
And come to year 2. Obviously, there's teething phases and you learn. But I think this is about to be the best ever. We already sold out Golden Circle.
Wonderful.
And why I say this is about to be the best ever, the partners that have come on board, we used to sell. And let me tell you how you know a product is commercially viable. You don't sell Thibaut Touch. Thibaut Touch is bought. And that's where the replenishment concert is at.
Wonderful.
When I present it to clients, the question is how much, not are we on board or not. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. Tickets are still available at Ticket Pro, General and VIP, and I look forward to making Jesus more fashionable.
There we go. I'm going to be there because I'm tired of seeing our fabulous rich aunties living their best life in the suite. Auntie Joe, yes, I'm throwing shade at you.
You know, Basitsana and Lala are the last people to leave, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be part of that flock.
Oh, you are? Oh, beautiful. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. Please, all my sisters, come out, man, and let's have a good time.
Absolutely. 28th of September at the Supersport Park Stadium in Centurion. That's where you are at. Replenishment concert. It is the third one, and tickets are on sale. We'll keep you posted as to the finer details of that as well during the course of the month. That was, of course, actually, you sign us out. You do your closing link into my next conversation.
For the most vibrant afternoon experience with none other but the iconic sister who stood the test of time amidst all the iconic radio DJs from all stations I cannot even mention right now, but this is me signing off on behalf of Bridget Masinga. It is a wrap, and have an amazing weekend. If you don't mind, catch me on a touchdown 326. Woo! You're too amazing. Thank you.
Ticket to travel back home with 3 points. This is the Total Energies AFCON 2025 qualifier. Witness the beauty of African football. South Sudan tackle South Africa on Tuesday, 10 September at 2:30 p.m. Live on SABC 1 and SABC radio stations. Also available at your fingertips on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
This Heritage Month, SAFM invites you to celebrate the rich tapestry of our nation's diverse cultures. From the vibrant beats of our traditional music to the flavors of our unique cuisines, every culture tells a story of strength, unity, and identity. We honor the heroes and heroines who laid down their lives for our freedom, reminding us that our shared heritage is what makes us strong. Together as one, we celebrate who we are because our culture is our identity. This Heritage Month, let's celebrate every culture, every story, and every voice.
We can simply talk about the song that you love, the song that helps you through the day, a song that might have helped you through difficult times, or a song that means something to you. Sylvia, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much.
Why do you love this song?
I don't know. Every time I listen to the song, it just touches me. I don't know.
Tabiso Sikwane on SAFM, South Africa's news and information leader.
SAFM sends its deepest condolences. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This Heritage Month, SAFM invites you to celebrate the rich tapestry of our nation's diverse cultures. From the vibrant beats of our traditional music to the flavors of our unique cuisines, every culture tells a story of strength, unity, and identity. We honor the heroes and heroines who laid down their lives for our freedom, reminding us that our shared heritage is what makes us strong. Together as one, we celebrate who we are because our culture is our identity. This Heritage Month, let's celebrate every culture, every story, and every voice. Arts, culture, and robust conversations with Bridget Masinga.
All right, as we get into our final conversation, we are joined by businesswoman and philanthropist Mpho Shabalala joins us now, and she proudly also wears the hat of being the late Mduduzi, aka Mandoza Shabalala's wife, and the woman behind also the biopic in Nkalagata. She's the executive producer of her late husband's biopic in Nkalagata, and of course also oversees the Mandoza Foundation in in honor of her husband. How are you doing?
I'm very well, and you, Sissy?
I'm fantastic. I'm great. I cannot be more excited to have you in studio. You look vibrant. You look,
I am.
I love it.
Friday.
I love it. She came in here with all the energy, and of course, as she was coming in, Thibaut Touch was walking out, and now she's trying to be all demure and cutesy
and all of that,
and all of that stuff. But how has life been? I mean, how has life been? Since your husband's passing, how has life changed for you and the family?
Life has been a roller coaster. In between finding grief and moving on, raising the kids, because I've never raised these kids by myself before Mr. Shabala passed on. So I just had to understand that I had to come back, because part of me died with him. For a full 1 year, I didn't know what to do without him. But I had to go and fetch myself and say, hey, wake up, you still have kids. After you lose someone, nothing stops. The bills don't stop. The kids don't stop growing and wait for you to grieve and finish. So you just have to find the strength, as he says, send a hope, and just believe that there's hope. I've discovered that grief is all about trying to find balance between living and grieving.
Because it never leaves. I once read a quote that said, grief never leaves you, not even with time.
True.
You just learn how to live with it.
Yep.
Right?
I must tell you, I'm still, I was doing an interview yesterday, and someone said, what do you say to Umandoza? I'll just tell him that I miss him.
Oh.
That's all I'll just say. I miss him, because we take for granted of people when they're still around.
Of course.
Until they know more. I've never listened to his catalog like I've done in the past 8 years. I know all the songs word by word.
What do you miss most about him?
His laugh. His laugh. And just him being him, because I don't know Mandoza, I know Umtutuzi.
Yes.
So just him, the softy that I know, the man that watch cartoons with the kids at home. That's the man that I know. That's what I miss.
Oh, wonderful, man. But of course, Mpho, as you said, for a year, you lost yourself, and rightfully so, because the process needed to happen for you also, before you even being a mom, just you as Mpho, the partner, and the significance of the person you've lost. But then there's something beautiful that comes on the other side when you learn to master living with grief, and you learn to master the living. And I've watched some friends recently, a friend of mine, Vanessa Carrera, who lost her husband quite young now, with young children still to raise, and this year I can see it's the other side, the blossoming.
When the other side comes, they're like, wow, where have I been? You're like, I've lost myself, but I've found myself. And for me, spirituality is also important. I feel I'm with him daily.
Yes.
His spirit lives with me daily. Yeah. So for me, it's also a bit heavy, because the day that he passed on is the same day that it's my birthday.
Oh, no.
So that's why that it took me a full year. I slept from the 18th of September 2016 and woke up the following year, 2017.
Wow.
I feel like that I've been underground.
Right? When they say that God can be the cruelest comedian, because on the day you've probably shared many a birthdays with him, many a happy moments, and now that day is also saddled to the reminder and the sadness of the loss.
So I guess I always say, he's been a selfish lover. That no matter what happens in your life, Mpho, I'll always be in your life. When you're trying to celebrate your birthday, maybe with other people, but you'll always remember that, this day he departed.
Yes, right. And let's talk about the legacy. There's the foundation, of course, the Mandoza Foundation in honor of him. Yes. Give us some context of how you sort of envision his legacy living through the foundation, and the kind of messaging and work that the foundation has done in previous years, and obviously moving into the future.
So when I launched the foundation in 2017, on my birthday, the same day that he passed on. Like literally, I didn't know what to do on that day, to celebrate, to cry. So I had to tap back on his journey while he was sick, that, where can I go and help out? I launched it at the Charlotte Maxeke Hospital where he had his last treatment, because I've experienced that, people go through different things there. A simple thing, someone is on treatment, doesn't have lunch. So I launched the foundation, made sure that I go there once a week to provide lunch, for patients there. Partnered with the different, companies. Then we moved along to, serving community, sending out blankets, doing soup kitchens. And then what else did we do? Sanitary pads. Yeah. But last year, we had a meeting with the board that I think it was time to move on to something else, celebrate what he lived for, not what he died of. And that is music. We started doing research around township schools to find out that is there anything that has to do with arts and culture, music, dance. It's there, but not, fully. It's according to a school, a principal to say we can do it as an extra. So we're trying to go back to township schools and say, let's have music lessons. It's our culture as South Africans. We love music and dance. So that's what we're doing, going back and offering music lessons, donating instruments.
How are you, going to accomplish that? And what kind of resource can we plug into, because having music programs is a costly thing. Just the other day we had, why am I forgetting them now? The name will come to me in a second. Yeah. And they've been around for like 4 decades, right? And they're still talking and doing incredible work similar to what you want to do, and still talking around just the lack of resource and support for them to get instruments into the hands of young black children in the township.
Definitely, it will be a challenge. So we're going to start with this upcoming event. We've partnered with Soweto Theatre. So it's not a once-off partnership. We'll be partnering with them because they offer that. So we'll be bringing different kids from different schools to Soweto Theatre for lessons and everything. So whatever instruments that we get, we won't per se give it to a school because, it may get lost along the way. So we'll be keeping it at the Soweto Theatre, making sure that, we try small steps. Yes. Getting kids that are interested to come through for lessons once a week, moving along like that.
I mean, it's a wonderful initiative, and I think a great space to have it in, indeed. And I'm pretty sure that you're going to have a great uptake, because that's the one thing we're learning, right? Is that our talent as black folks is infinite. It's just about access and resource.
I've seen after his passing, my inbox has been loaded with demos. I'm like, what do I do with these demos? I'm not in the music industry. I'm not a producer. So I had to, think that, I think when people see me, they still see that opportunity when I go to the township that, hey, there's a person that can plug us in. So I said, let me just do it.
Let's use this as a moment to call. I know you've got stakeholders and partners that you've partnered with for this, the first step of this initiative. Let's use this as a platform to call on more resource, to call on corporate injections into to call on the music industry to rally behind what you are doing. In a perfect world, what kind of commitment would you like to see from private individuals, from corporate individuals to sustain this program? We just heard Thibaut Touch talk about, his replenishment concert, and that the foresight of saying, I'm starting it this year, but I'm seeing it having longevity for 5 years. So I'm planning long term.
Yep. I think my biggest challenge has been a financial sponsorship in everything. Like, for instance, now we're doing this musical at the Soweto Theatre. I have a cast of about 35 that come for rehearsals every day. They need to be paid for rehearsals. Those are artists that are dedicated to music and dance. That's where I've started, but it's been difficult. Currently, the project is self-funded. We always say, yes, we run away from, government and everything, but I think they should be the ones that come up first and say, we see what you're doing. We don't have the time, but we've noticed what you're doing. So we're coming on board to assist. Where can we assist? You reach out. They can hear you. So I'd love corporates to come on board, to have discussions, to see, can we buy instruments for the foundation? Can we provide space? Can we provide, because most of all, at the end of this, I see in the next 5 years' time, the Mendoza Foundation having a home in Soweto where kids can even come in the afternoons, know that, no, if I can't go home and have food and do my studies and do my extramurals, I can go to a place. If I can't do it at home, there is a place that's called the Mendoza Foundation, specifically in the Zochazem area. It's the far end of Soweto where they don't have much resources. So I want to go back there, that if Zola can give birth to a Mendoza, I think we can give birth to so many Mendozas through the Mendoza Foundation.
Absolutely. So for the 25-year tribute concert of Nkalagata, that song has traveled every stadium, every corner of the world, everywhere you go, no matter what language they speak. If they see that South African flag,
you know Nkalagata? They ask you when you travel, you know Nkalagata? I'm like,
listen, English could even be a limitation, but then Nkalagata will come out.
I know.
18th and the 19th of September at the Soweto Theatre is when we're having the tribute concert. Or has it moved?
No.
Okay.
It's only the 18th.
Okay.
You mustn't give them too much of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so
18th,
one night only. So how this came about, I say Nkalagata is a trendsetter. It did what even the country couldn't do it in its own.
Yeah.
So it brought different races together, and I said, what can I do that hasn't been done? Like, I'm trying to take back, arts and culture to theatre and everything. So I'm doing a musical. We're launching it on the 18th of September at the Soweto Theatre in Jabulani, Soweto. There we'll be touring. We're planning with more funding. Hopefully, we'll be touring around different provinces, because we can't keep in the Gauteng. This is a national, second national anthem, Nkalagata. So, it's happening. We're excited about it. We're busy with the rehearsals, and everyone must come through and just experience this amazing, show that will be happening. Most songs that we performed are collaborations, because I feel like the collaborations haven't been given enough space here. The collaboration with Brenda Fassie, Duma Silela, Lebo Matosa, and we're paying homage to those that have passed on also.
I love it. So 18th of September at the Soweto Theatre is that tribute concert, and of course titled Nkalagata, but it's, as you said, paying homage to Mendoza and his contribution to the music industry, and some of the late greats that's also traveled the journey preceding him and alongside him. It's going to be a wonderful day, I think. So you can get your tickets from the Soweto Theatre, 18th of September at the Soweto Theatre. And of course, if you want to plug into the work that the foundation is doing as well, just give us a quick website or social media, whichever is easiest for people to get a hold of you.
So there's a Nkalagata 25 page on all social media pages.
Okay.
Just hashtag Nkalagata. Nkalagata 25. Yeah. And then there's the Mendoza Foundation social media page also on all the social media pages.
Wonderful stuff.
Then there's Mposha Balala also.
That was Mposha Balala. And of course, she is a philanthropist and businesswoman and the wife to the late Mendoza, as we fondly know him in South Africa. That is how we wrap up our show today. We thank you so much for choosing to be in conversation with us. Hope you've had a great Friday afternoon. We certainly had a great Friday afternoon. We enjoyed our show, so we hope you enjoyed the show. Ashraf Gada is standing by to keep you company from 3 to 6. But first, a quick break and then the news.
The National Thunder trust their game plan will trouble the Sparrow Hawks. However, the Togolese believe they will punch above their weight to secure victory. This is the Total Energies AFCON 2025 qualifier. Witness the beauty of African football. Equatorial Guinea collides with Togo on Monday, 9 September at 5 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Also available at your fingertips on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
at 3 o'clock. Illegal miners arrested in Mpumalanga, and the Justice Minister apologizes over the VBS loan. A very good afternoon. 16 illegal miners have been arrested during a joint operation by the police and soldiers at Pilgrim's Rest in Mpumalanga. The operation, led by Premier Mandlandlovu, started early this morning. The police and soldiers have been deployed in the mountains to deal with the ongoing illegal gold mining in the area. Some of the miners have been hiding in the mountains and the disused mine shafts there.